Hello students, a very warm welcome to JEE English. And guys, don't limit your challenges but challenge your limits, and we are going to get started with an awesome quiz on units, dimensions and measurements. And students who are already aware of the process, you can simply type on type in 752269 on your app, and you will be able to simply join the quiz within a fewer seconds. So yes, students who are aware of the process, quickly join the quiz. It's going to be again a short quiz, and post this we are going to discuss the most important part, one of the most important part of JEE Advanced paper, which is going to be integer based questions. And you don't want to miss out this session. It's going to be super interesting. And that also being said, quickly join the quiz, guys. How do you get on to this quiz? All you need to do is type in Unacademy on your Google Play Store and App Store. You'll find the first app as Unacademy learning app, which is the most downloaded educational app, and then you'll click on this install button. And that being said, then again you'll choose plus as your option, and post that you'll be able to see, you click on this extension bar and choose plus as your option, and post that you'll be able to see 5 tabs. One is going to be home, syllabus, test, browse, updates. You'll choose test, as you can see the red pointer pointing over here, and then you'll click on the join quiz, and guys, you'll enter the quiz ID, which is going to be 752269. So you can quickly enter this ID, guys, and join the quiz. So we'll be waiting for as usual, next 5 minutes for students to join this quiz, and get your pen and paper ready. Share this the quiz session with your friends as well. This is not going to be totally quiz session, as you know. We are going to discuss JEE Advanced 2019 paper 1, the last part of it. It's going to be basically integer based questions, and we'll also have a look at these questions. Trust me, guys, this is the easiest part of the JEE mains paper, because this is the least time consuming part, and you can quickly identify the questions that you can solve and quickly proceed. So that's the beauty of integer based questions, rather than multiple correct answer or multiple choice questions, single correct answer but multiple choice question. So that is the beauty of the integer based question. So yes, that being said, guys, you can quickly join the quiz. Hi Rohit, you can join the quiz. Rohit, hi, good evening students. And yeah, so this would be a code, and if you're not aware of the process, you can just rewind the video a little bit. So first of all, you click on the extension bar. You must download the Unacademy Learning app and log in. Then you will click on the extension bar, and then click on the plus, and then you will choose tests among all the tabs, and then you will choose join quiz. That's it. Okay. Yeah, you can quickly join the quiz. We'll wait for another 4 minutes, and post that we'll get started on the quiz, and that's all you need to do. So the quiz code is 752269. You can quickly join the quiz, students. That's what it takes, and it's going to be a very interesting quiz. Of course, PYQs are there on this quiz. So make sure you're attending the quiz with all the dedication. The thing is, try to get a pen and paper while you're attending this quiz. So yes, it's basically going to be it's a very easy topic actually. Already we have a participant, and yes, so yeah, good. Yes, you can type in this code, guys. That's all you need to do. Get your pen and paper. It's going to be interesting. I know 1 minute 20 seconds is less. Today you'll have 80 seconds per question, but that being said, it's about also analyzing the options and moving in when you're given such a short duration. Good evening, Amit. Good evening, very good evening. You can quickly join the quiz, and all you need to do is download the Unacademy Learning app, and then you'll click on the plus button after clicking on the extension, and then you'll join the quiz, and then you will got you Rohit. Good Rohit. And then you enter this ID 752269. All right, good Rohit. We'll wait for another 3 minutes. If we have more participants, we can continue this quiz. Students, one more thing is Yeah, honestly speaking, you may want to generally start with multiple correct answer questions. So today's session is actually about JEE Advanced, paper discussion. So one of the strategies would be like, you may want to start with multiple correct answer questions or integer based questions, because there you have either partial marking or definite answers, and you don't have to, like spend a lot of time analyzing the options, etc. So yes, today's session is going to be mostly about integer-based question. We have two multiple correct answer questions left over. We'll analyze that they're easy questions, in fact, unlike rest of the questions. And I think one is on electrostatics, majorly around flux. The other one is around optics. And there would be also an even distribution of questions in your integer-based. Generally even distribution of questions based on the topics in your integer-based questions. You notice the past trend. Alright students, we have one more minute, and we will begin the quiz in a minute. Share this code, guys. Share this code with your friends. Ask your friends to come on board and attend this quiz. It's going to be interesting. I know the leaderboard is one of the most interesting part of this quiz, but yeah, it's meant to analyze and understand dear students, you need to enter 752269 to join the quiz. You quickly join the quiz, and you can attend this quiz. It's going to be basically on PYQs. We'll have 80 seconds for each question. 10 questions in today's quiz. Do we have students joining the quiz? It's on Unacademy Learning app. You will be watching the video over here. I'll be quickly discussing the hints on YouTube while you can attend the quiz on Unacademy Learning app. Alright guys, we'll see you until the beginning. We may have to terminate this quiz session and get started with the PYQ session. Let's get started with the PYQ session then. So that being said, guys, you are on JEE English, one of the free of cost initiative in Unacademy, where you get all your quality contents for your JEE preparation from basics until advanced. And today we are going to discuss one of the most interesting part of your entire preparation, that is going to be a JEE Advanced paper. And basically the most asked or the easy scoring part of it, which is going to be your numerical based questions. So let's get into the session. And students who know me well and good, if not, I'm Murlidharan Gopalakrishnan. I completed my MS in electrical engineering from University of Colorado Boulder, one of the top ranking American university in electrical engineering. And I'm also an IITian who completed my BTech from IIT Guwahati, and I have 4+ years of experience preparing students for IIT JEE and other competitive exams. I filed patent applications in India and abroad. So today it's about also a sort of a strategization. You need to notice some things, maybe some questions to avoid, etc. And that being said, students, get on to a Telegram channel, and this is a Telegram channel of JEE English. So it's Unacademy's official Telegram channel, where you can get all the live updates and timely notifications on what is happening on JEE English or any lectures that we conduct on Unacademy Learning app, etc. So that being said, all you need to do is either type in JEE English after you download the Telegram app from your Google Play Store and App Store, and then you can click onto this link, or just type in JEE English as I told earlier. And that being said, we have covered on a back-to-back session all the parts of units and dimensions, with more model problems, with more PYQs, mostly around JEE Advanced and also some JEE Main. So different kind of model problems was the target of the session on Unacademy Learning app. So do check out this session. It's a very interesting part of like this entire be it your revision or be it your I don't recommend last minute learning, but for units and dimensions you can do it sometimes. So these are like few easy topics, And it's also necessary that you do units and dimensions before just your exam, because not before your exam, I mean at the end of the syllabus, because that way you can actually understand how to do the questions. But you know what, there are no reasons to complete error analysis and rest of the topics of units and dimensions and measurements. But other than the dimension analysis, something that you can bring up at the end, so that helps you like better in your exams, because you know the things now and you can attend it. And that being said, guys, if you don't have Unacademy app yet, download it. And how do you download it? All you need to do is type in Unacademy on your Google Play Store and App Store. That's all you need to do, and you're going to find Unacademy Learning app as your first search result. It is one of the most downloaded educational apps, and then you'll click on this install button. That's all you need to do. And that's it, guys. And you'll have an awesome app where you'll get timely notifications on such sessions that that your favorite educators have conducted. For example, I've completed sessions on units, dimensions, and measurements A to Z part. So mostly I take up A to Z lectures, or one-shot lectures on Unacademy Learning app. They completed current electricity, etc. We do quizzes very often, so do check out. And there are many popular educators, best educators across the nation on this learning app. To get timely notifications, if you download the app, you'll be able to do it. Not only that, you can attend quiz by downloading this Unacademy Learning app. And quiz is anyway a free of cost feature by Unacademy, which you may want to attend and take advantage of it. And that being said, guys, if you're looking for an awesome complete package and a champions tool for your JEE preparation, we have one for you, which comes with everything that you need for your JEE preparation. This includes, like live quizzes, live test series. Not only that, we have the best educators across the nation on this platform. And we are talking about, Unacademy subscription. And guys, the best thing about it is it's a totally goal-oriented structured program. And in the structured program, you attend, weekly, twice quizzes on the topic that has been conducted, and you move not in a very chaotic manner, but in a very systematic manner, depending upon your target. So for target 2021 and for target 2022, the goals are a little bit different. The way the subject has to be taken is a little bit different, and these things are taken care of it. And more importantly, it's the state of the art tech. And the awesome thing about it is you get access to leaderboards and national level standings, and from there you can assess it's not about just comparative analysis or something, but basically you're understanding your national standing, and from there you can learn what you need to do to improve upon, and how you need to prepare for your JEE Mains and JEE Advanced. And not only that, you can get a lot of insights. It's too personalized. And that being said, how do you get onto this? All you need to do is click on the extension bar, choose plus as your target, and then you'll choose IIT JEE as your goal. With that, you're getting prepared for both the IIT JEE Mains and Advanced, and then you'll get the subscription. So that's the best thing. And more importantly, it's only one subscription, unlimited access. You can also get your doubts cleared from the nation's best educators. That's the awesomeness of the app. And apart from that, guys, the price is also reasonable. It's only going to cost you 2,100 per month, and you get to this price point after you apply Murli Live coupon. So do not forget to apply Murli Live coupon to get the best discount. And that's the best part about it. You get also good discounts on your subscription purchase, and it's reasonable. It's only 2,100 per month, and mostly students in 11th class, 9th class and 10th class will go for these kind of packages. That's it, guys. That's the best thing about it. And yes, Trivedi, yes, that's correct. Yeah, matrix match is basically match the following, and yeah, that is also one of the interesting things. Yeah, it's a good thing. I'll discuss about it as we get started with the session. And yes, guys, it's very reasonable. And not only that, we also have convenient payment modes for you. So you can pay in parts, basically using our in-house Unacademy feature, where your payment would be split into multiple parts, and it takes away the burden of paying all the fee at once. This is one of the best things that we do. And not only that, you can also get access to no-cost EMI. This is also another thing that can take away the burden of paying all the fee at once. We also have other traditional payment modes. So you can also check them out. And that being said, guys, even 12-month package is very reasonable. It's only going to cost you less than 2,900 per month, anywhere around 2,888. and for all the value you get access to 6,000 plus preparation materials, and not only that, there are 1,000 plus active courseworks going on. So you want to roll in the correct kind of program. This program is typically meant for long-term or dropout students, and you know what to do. You need to enroll to the right kind of program. You can enroll to as many number of programs as you want, but the thing is, you know what, you want to follow maybe like just few programs for your JEE preparation. And that being said, how do you get to this price point? You need to apply Murli Live coupon. So do not forget to apply Murli Live coupon to get this 10% instant discount, which is going to be the best discount that you're going to avail on this pricing. And yes, we also have popular authors like DC Pandey sir on this platform. And that being said, guys, failure is just the stepping stone to success, and you have to learn from your mistakes to succeed in your pursuits. Let's not wait anymore. Let's get into this interesting part. And before that, yes. So Triveni has an interesting question. So does matrix type questions have 12 marks? Yeah, generally, matrix type questions may have 2 or 3 questions attached to them. So generally, it's maybe like 9 to 12 marks, sometimes 6 marks. But the thing is, what matrix type questions are also easy to attend questions. Why? You can follow the method of elimination. So that is one of the things that you can do over there. And not only that, in match the following and these kind of questions, you have easier options to opt out. But anyway, do remember, multiple correct answer is something that you cannot avoid in JEE Advanced, especially when it comes to JEE Advanced. There is no way out of it, because 45% of the paper you want to crack. So you need to know, you understand that there are 45% of the questions come just from your, at least from past, few years analysis, you've seen that, anywhere in 2019 it was around 45%. Generally it's 40% and above, and it's anyway really good because you get you get partial marking. And not only that, students, it's also it also helps you understand that single correct option takes as much time as multiple correct many times. Maybe a little bit more, but it also carries a lot of weightage, generally easier one. And that being said, we already discussed this part, and I discussed few strategy, like in this case, I may not completely go and do this part and just leave it alone, and maybe take it up later on. And these things are like really easy. A is really easy to find out, B is really easy to find out, and D is wrong, really easy to find out. So these kind of things can be done on your multiple correct answer questions. That's the beauty of it. Let's get into the next question of this multiple correct answer. We have discussed rest of the questions. Only 2 more questions are left over. And now this is a very easy question. And in generally, how do you do and how do you approach this kind of questions? So a charge shell of, so this is the question. It says it's about, basically if you notice that it's about, flux, Gauss law. So it says a charge shell of radius r carries total charge q. So there is a charge shell and it carries a, like a total charge q. And okay, let's first of all map it down. It's q, and now what is happening, it has a radius r. Okay, these are the 2 key points to note. Some things you can simply could have guessed just having a look at the question. So what is the flux contained in that, like any geometrical surface you draw? So it's basically the charge divided by epsilon naught, depending upon the medium. But in this case, we are just talking about permittivity of free space. We're not talking about any dielectric medium. So generally, charge enclosed is the flux, right? It's the electrical flux that we are talking about. So now the thing is, given flux phi as the electrical field, okay, flux of the electrical field through a closed cylindrical, this things you understand. And then there is a cylindrical surface of height h, radius r. Okay, now the interesting part is, see, two things that you need to really know. One is if 2 cases would be there. Typically, you understand this part of it, and maybe in this question it is asked, and this is something that I'm just talking about because you may want to analyze this thing at the beginning itself. So let's say there is one cylinder that is outside this, and what is the condition for this? Its height has to be less than 2r, and its radius has to be less than r. So its radius is given as small r. Okay, let's write it down as small r. So I'm just discussing on the question itself because the reason is this question is really easy. If you had guessed it just from, at least you can have marked at least 1 or 2 correct answers if you analyze this thing in the beginning itself. So if r is less than r and 2r is less than r, how much is the flux? Rohit, no quiz, I believe. So we have started with the session. So we will continue with the session. Okay, we'll have a quiz tomorrow. I'm sorry about it, Rohit. I'm really sorry. So yes, so this tells you the flux in this case is going to be 0, right? The flux in this case is going to be 0. Now this is because that surface does not contain any charge in it. Now let's see another case. So another limiting case is going to be, hello Dinesh, good evening everyone. So yes, another case is going to be what? When this is sufficiently big enough such that it can cover this entire sphere. So think about a case where, you know, I mean, this is a little bigger, I know. We are just talking about the limiting case or the limiting condition. So in this case as well, you know, what is going to be the flux? Q naught by E. Okay, and okay, this is going to be, since it has Q charge on it, it's going to be Q naught by E. So this question also requires you to know about solid angle concept, or the solid angle, at least you know the expression. So that is required. Yeah, Rohit, you can you know, focus on the session. It's going to be an interesting one. Actually, it's a very interesting one, guys. Okay, you'll notice, you know, couple of integer based questions that are like super easy. If you apply some concepts, you can do it the traditional way as well, but if you apply some concepts, it's going to be super easy. And also there are few hints while you solve integer based question. Not always you should do that. You should try to maintain the completeness. But in this case, what is the flux? The flux is going to be when, so what would be the condition for this? H is greater than 2r. So that means the radius covers some part of the sphere, and also the height covers the entire sphere. I'm really sorry, height covers the entire sphere. If this is r, this is going to be 2r, right? This entire thing is going to be 2r. One would be r, so the entire thing would be 2r. Okay, and what about the radius? To contain this, it should be equal to r. I mean, little greater than r. So these are the two limiting conditions. Between them, you will analyze the solid angle. Okay. Any guesses, students? How do you go about this question? There's a pitfall also involved in it. I mean, during the haste of the exam, you don't want to follow that pitfall. So it's going to be Q naught by epsilon. Okay, it's Q by epsilon naught. Q encloses total Q, which is the charge on the sphere. So this way we have two conditions. Using these two conditions, you're not going to write it down, students. Probably just these two lines you'll write it down. You don't want to do so much. Yes, B is correct. That is absolutely correct. B is correct because B does not have any fluxidant. Really good, Rohit. So let's analyze one case, A, B, C, D. That is how we are going to go in the session. It's really good, and like what Rohit is doing, you have to do it in your exams. As soon as you identify this option is wrong, I mean, like it's correct in this case, you're simply going to mark it and then move on to the next option, whichever comes to your eyesight first. Okay, and now the thing is, now let's see what is this B. A is also correct. That is correct. Yeah. So B, it's 8r by 5 less than 2r. 10r by 5 would be 2r, and radius is 3r by 5. Anyway, the radius is lesser, and this is also less than r. 5r by 5 would be r. So B is correct, and similarly talking, A is also correct because h is greater than 2r and r is greater than r. Basically, this condition, it would have total flux. Now left over is two conditions given to you. One condition where r is equal to 3r by 5. So only one among them can be correct if you have carefully noticed it. Okay, I'm not saying if this is wrong, this will be wrong, this will be correct or something like that. Only one among them can be correct because both cannot have same amount of flux, because they basically have height greater than 2r but radius less than r itself. So let's analyze these cases and understand how to work around them. Okay, so let's get into this question, and it's going to be really interesting, guys. So we have two conditions. One condition is h greater than 2r, and the other condition is also h greater than 2r, but the radius is basically 3r by 5. Okay, but do remember we are only concerned about the part it covers, which is just this time dependent upon radius. Okay, let's analyze this part. I think we have done A, we know it is correct, so we are not going to do this, and we have done B, we know B is also correct. Now let's come to the part where we need to analyze C. I hope you understood the concept. Let's again draw that. And one more thing I would like to inform you before we get into this. What is the half angle? The equation of so let's, okay, I'll come to this part once we get into the problem, then it would give you better insight. Okay, so what do I mean by half angle, etc.? Now let's say there is a sphere. Yeah, h is less than 2r, but h is greater than 2r. Is it? H is less than 2r, and option C, no. H is greater than 2r. Okay, basically your cylinder would look something like this. Okay, your cylinder would look something like this. But probably you're not worried about the entire thing. The reason is just let's draw it again. Okay, now it contains some charge inside it, right? Not the entire cube. So we are talking about the limiting conditions where both of them should be true in the limiting conditions, right? So that is something that you have to immediately identify. And generally in multiple correct you would have some, something like that. So that's the reason we also discussed it. So let's say this is something greater than 2r. You can take the limiting condition as well, it does not matter. So this is how it would typically look like. But what is the charge now contained inside it? Think in 3D there are like, the entire shell, literally this much part of shell that is being like this part of the shell is inside this geometrical cylindrical surface. Okay, so now let's get into this question. So it's little not that much symmetrical, but anyway, let's analyze it. So now the thing is, I need to find out how much is contained in how much charge is contained inside this this part of this highlighted shell. So let's start from the center. So this is going to be r. How much is this given to us? 3r by 5. Okay, radius of the sphere, the cylinder is 3r by 5. The height is greater than 2r. Okay, the total height is greater than 2r, and if you notice the question, it has been placed symmetrically. So I believe that is also not a problem. So let's analyze this part of it. And in fact, a lot of math is involved right now. It's 3r by 5. So basically, we'll be talking about something known as, if you know it really good, solid angle. Okay, we need to find out. So it would look something like this. I believe the sphere would also look something like this if you're thinking about it. So we are talking about this half angle, half solid angle. We would like to call it like theta half or something. And this theta half basically tells you how much this entire solid angle covers in this thing. I mean this part of the sphere which is being contained inside, which is basically the charge, some amount of charge. So what is the total solid angle of the sphere? 4 pi total. Okay, let me just do it this way. And so total is 4 pi solid angle. Okay, for 4 pi solid angle, which is basically 4 pi of this surface, would contain how much? Q charge given to you. Okay, basically this sphere has Q charge on it. Now the thing is, flux would be Q by epsilon naught. Okay, now let's understand what about the next part of it. So if I'm saying this much solid angle, for an example, I'm denoting this solid angle with something, the equivalent thing is going to be 2 pi 1 minus cos half angle. Okay, and that would contain how much charge in it? Something like q by 4 pi into 2 pi, which is going to be basically q by 2. So it would contain, given like at some half angle theta by 2. We will understand if you solve it. Anyway, let's solve this. It's going to be q by 4 pi. So inside 4 pi it is this much. Within 2 pi into 1 minus cos theta, within this solid angle, how much should be contained? Within this solid angle, it would be contained as into this solid angle basically. That's what you need to do. So how much would that yield? If you calculate it, it's going to yield within the 2 pi 1 minus cos half angle, it's going to contain something like into solid angle 2 pi it would be basically q by 2. Okay, it is going to be q by 2 into 1 minus cos of half angle. Okay, half angle, basically we are calling it half angle because it is, we are only analyzing this part of the sphere, but it covers the entire part of the sphere. So now the thing is, let's now get into this this thing. Hi Manav, hi Manav. So now think about it. How much is this cos theta? Okay, this is 3r by 5. This is r. Okay, this is r. This is 3r by 5. And how much would this part be? To find out cos theta, we need for this half angle. If I'm talking about this half angle, let me erase those part, that may confuse a little bit. So now I hope you understood the solid angle concept. So let's just analyze the part which is required. Okay, so this is also r, this is r, and this would be also r, but we are only analyzing for the cos theta, for which we need to draw a right angle triangle, and for that right angle triangle, okay, simple guys, actually it's really simple. This could be done in a few minutes if you understood this concept. So we need to find out cos of this half angle, which is nothing but r square. If I had to find out this side, which is nothing but r square, if this is right angle, this is right angle, right? This is how much? This is r square minus this is going to be also 3r by 5. Okay, this is also going to be 3r by 5. And okay, all right, I think that part of the sphere suddenly disappeared. It's okay. So this it should be anyway. Now the thing is, we're analyzing the cos of this. This so this thing should be how much? R square minus 3r by 5 whole square, which is going to be 4r by 5. Okay, this side is going to be 4r by 5. So you can calculate this r square minus 9r square by 25, which is going to give you 25 minus 9, which is going to be 16, and that's going to be 4r by 5. Okay, so now that means that how much is cos theta of half? In this case it is 4r by 5 by r, I believe. It's hypotenuse by adjacent by hypotenuse, which is going to be basically 4 by 5. Okay, but notice one more thing. Just give me a moment, let me draw this neatly, that we have a better understanding of what we are doing. So this is how it should be, a bit more rounded anyway. So one more thing is, like, if you noticed in this thing, there is another such shell on the bottom, which is also of the same surface area. This is also of the same surface area, and this is also of the same surface area. So basically you have to multiply this entire charge into 2 to find out the amount of charge contained in it. But what do you mean by cut? Alright, so you can substitute the half angle. I hope you understood. Whatever we are finding out the charge over here, if I'm going to call this as Q dash, how much is Q dash in this case? Q dash is basically Q by 2 into 1 minus cos half angle. I'm going to carry this out. Q dash is basically, so you, in the exam you will be writing it down as by Q naught, or you will be identifying the answer and moving about it quickly. So 1 minus 4 by 5. If you know the angles, it's really good. It could have been very quick, and but this is only half of the charge content. So total would be twice of this. Okay. How much is it going to be? It's going to be 2 into 1 by 5. So 2 would get cancelled out. So it's going to be Q by 2. And what would be the flux? Flux for this, I'm going to write down this as 3R by 5, and the other limiting condition is met. So Q by 5 it should be. So the simple guys, simple. 5, and this should be Q total by epsilon naught, which is going to be Q by 5 epsilon naught. Okay. That is it guys, that is it. So that means if this is correct, of course your D is false. Simply easy one. But if you are done for this, you know this is 4R by 5. There if you can analyze the hypotenuse, how much would that be? Hypotenuse would be R. Sorry, if you analyze the adjacent side, so if this was 4R by 5, how much would this be? This would be 3R by 5. Okay. So what would be your half angle be? Half angle would be, cos of half angle would be something like, 3 by 5. Which tells you the solid angle is, in this case, just doing it somewhat, quickly, so that we can move in this. 1 minus 3 by 5, which is going to give you 2 into Q naught divided by Q naught into 2. Again, that's going to be 2 Q naught. So twice will be contained. Okay, which also makes sense, right? Larger, think about it. It is covering more. Now in this case, it is covering less since the radius is less. Okay. So this is going to be 2 by 5, something like this. Okay, 2 by 5 into 2 by. Okay, forget the 2 pi everything. So it's a half should be the charge inside it. Just quickly giving you an insight. Let me do it little. So just not drawing the entire sphere thing because we validated it. I'm not doing it because even in the exam, if you have validated for one, you must be able to do it for the other very quickly. Even if the first option takes a lot of time, that's the reason if you approach this one, you should be validating this one as well. Okay, so it's going to be 2 pi divided by 4 pi into Q is the charge, half charge content inside this. Okay, which is going to be like Q by 5, and you would have to multiply this with twice. Okay, you will multiply this with twice, and which is going to be, the flux is going to be something like, flux of, I'm going to call this as 4R by 5, including the limiting condition, and H is greater than R, so you would have to actually not find it out but do it. 2 into Q half divided by epsilon naught. So that way it's going to be 2Q by 5 epsilon naught. Okay, and one more thing you have to remember is if you are mathematically getting here and there, remember this is 4R by 5. Greater radius should contain more charge, more surface area should be covered, whereas this is 3R by 5, lesser should be covered, hence your answer is correct. And one more thing, students, if you have missed this, don't fall into this pitfall. The reason that I have exclusively, I took time to exclusively explain this part is because this is somewhat misleading. If you have forgot this, you have to multiply this with 2. You're not analyzing half charge, but you are rather analyzing full charge if you're thinking about it. Then probably you're going to get this one as the answer. Okay, this one as the answer, because you would have missed the 2. So that kind of mistake you don't want to make. And the other thing you have to remember is Of course, this has to be lesser than the other one. Let's move on to the next question. It was pretty easy question. So the answers were A is correct, B is correct. Since C is false, D is correct. Already interchanged. Okay, let's move on and let's understand the next. I think should be separating into two parts. That you can do it even. I don't know. Maybe Kruna, maybe. So let's get into the next interesting part. This is very interesting question, guys. So now let's first of all read the question and let's understand. So one of the things we have to do is last question was directly a flux question, so we are more used to it. So now this again, sort of a lot of mathematics involved in it. So initially let's read the question and understand what is the thing that we need to analyze. That is the first thing we need to do. So there is a thin convex lens made up of two materials of refractive index n1 and n2 as shown in the figure. The radius of curvature of the left and the right spheres are equal. Okay, both have the same radius of curvature, which is going to be like r, let's say. This is also going to be having r. And both are convex lens. The radius of curvature of the left and the right spheres are equal to f. Okay, and is the focal length of the lens when n1 is equal to n2 is equal to n. Makes sense? Which when they both are equal, then obviously they would have the same focal length. Now the thing is, they are saying the focal length changes, which is going to become f plus delta f when n is equal to. So this is total focal length of this entire combination, this arrangement. I mean, okay. So the radius of the curvature of left and right are equal and are becoming the focal length of the lens when n1 is equal to n2 is equal to n. Okay, so this is a convex lens made up of two materials. Okay, and the focal length is becoming f plus delta f and when n is equal to n and n2 is equal to n plus delta n. And this is also very important to notice. This kind of things you should not miss out in your exam. They will help you solve the question very quickly, analyze the question very quickly. N delta n is less than n minus 1, and similarly n lies between 1 and 2. Okay. Alright, yeah, get started on the students. Yeah, we are going to solve this problem, guys. Okay, don't worry about it. Pratik, Nandavardhan, we are also going to do this problem. But now let's understand first of all what we need to analyze in this question. First of all, read the options. If you are reading the options, they are talking about delta f by f and delta n by n. So something like delta f by f is less than delta n by n. If we move to the question option number 2, it's about delta f. Okay, the value of the delta f will be 0.02 given that n is equal to 1.5 and delta n is equal to 10 to the power minus 3. Now, third one says some delta n by n is less than 0, so delta f by f is greater than 0. We don't know that yet. And delta f by f and delta n by n, relation between delta f by f and delta n by n remains unchanged if both the convex and concave are replaced by the concave surfaces. Convex surfaces are replaced by the concave surfaces of the same radiature. Basically minus r if this was r. Okay. Now the thing is, let's analyze the thing. First of all, you understood we have to find out delta f. Another thing you understood is we have to find out relation between delta f and delta n. This one says so, this one says so, and the D also says so. So in that case, you would have to try and find out the relation between delta f by f and delta n by n. That is the first and the foremost thing we should be doing. Okay, good, really good, Rohit, really quick, amazing. So that is all about the question. So if you remember, yeah, if you want to read the question, you can read it. I've just zoomed it in. So I hope you understood that part. Okay. So all being asked is what is the relation between delta f by f and delta n by n in almost three options. And this is also maybe you will derive it once you derive the relation between delta f by f and delta n by n. Relation is something. Let's say if delta f by f was equal to delta n by n, maybe delta f is equal to delta n by n into delta into f. But let's understand the first thing. It's a multiple correct answer question. More than one are correct generally. So maybe if I analyze delta f by f and delta n by n relation, that would fetch me more marks, and that would also give me the quick answers to maybe if they're correct or wrong. Okay, let's get started on this question. So that being said, we need to find out the effective focal length. So the condition 1 was where the focal length remained, the refractive index of both the sides remains same, and n1 is equal to n, n1 is equal to n2 is equal to n, and in the second case n1 remains as n, but n2 becomes n plus delta n. Okay, so for the first case, focal length, so if you remember this thing, 1 by focal length total is equal to, so in this case it's basically 1 by f is equal to 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2. Okay, now what is your 1 by f? N minus 1 by r. Okay, we are analyzing case 1 where the refractive index are same. This is also n and this also n. Okay, and both anyway have same radius of curvature, which is going to be n minus 1 by r divided by n minus 1 by r plus that is going to be it. So both would have same value, so that would be n minus 1 by 2 into n minus 1 by r is 1 by f. Now in the second case, what happened to n2? n1 remained as n. A and C, let's check it out. I think A is false, C is correct. Analyze it. Yeah, this kind of questions, once you have derived the relation, verify it and do it again, guys, because it's really good you solved it. But the thing is, it is best, or it is necessary that you get the answer. So now what happened to the entire focal length? Now the focal length is f plus delta f, whereas earlier it was just f. Earlier it was just f. So we need to calculate 1 plus delta f. So what do you think will be 1 plus delta f? This would remain as n minus 1 by r. This would remain as, this would become n plus delta n minus 1 by r. So you would have to basically add a delta n to this. Right? You can calculate it. N minus 1 by r plus of n plus delta n minus 1 by r. R would be common. N minus 1 would also be there twice, but rather you would get an extra delta n. Okay, that's it. Now to find out the relation, basically you're going to divide it or take an inverse and multiply. So let's carry out on the next page. D is also correct. What is D? D? I think D is also correct. Let's check it out. I need delta f by f relation, I guess. Yeah, delta f by f relation, if you notice, and delta n by n relation. So delta f by f, how would I get it? I'll take an inverse of this and just multiply with this. Okay, so it would be f plus of delta f divided by f, and this is RR would get cancelled out when we are going to divide it. Okay, when we are going to divide it, RR would get cancelled out. N minus 1 would remain, 2 into n minus 1 would remain. And on the numerator, on the denominator, you would get, on the numerator it would be 2n minus 1. And on the numerator, it's going to be 2n minus 1 plus delta n. Okay. So basically a delta n would remain. So always do remember and make use of the given conditions. So there would be some conditions, take g is equal to 10. Those things are very important to notice, because many a times, we go by, we need to gain that speed, we'll go very quickly, but at the end of the day we realize, okay, we have solved everything, but we have substituted 9.8, we are struggling somewhere. Maybe if it is given 9.8, you should take it as 9.8. So just expand this, 21 plus delta, so basically f by f and delta f by f, and so we'll get a relation between if you solve this 2n minus 1 and this also 2n minus 1 plus delta n, and if I take this minus 1 on the other side, if you notice, it would become 2n minus 1, 2n and minus 1 would get cancelled out. It's basically minus 1, so minus delta n would remain. Okay, minus delta n divided by the whole thing, 2n minus 1 plus delta n. So this is delta f by f and this delta f by f and this delta n divided by delta 2n minus 1 plus of delta n. Okay. So now let's do a thing. Now we need to go through the conditions. So the first thing we need is the data, which says, in this case we have just derived this thing. I'm writing it down. Delta f by f is equal to delta minus delta n divided by 2n minus 1 would be there plus delta n. Okay. Now the thing is, now let's understand few things. Okay, these are the limiting conditions we need to make use of. If delta n is less than n minus 1, there is 2n minus 1. This is insignificant. Delta n is insignificant. You always need to do this. We did it even in the voltmeter question. If you remember the voltmeter question, we did the same thing. So this is going to be minus delta n divided by 2n minus 1. Okay, now delta f by f, let's say delta minus delta n by n is positive, then delta f by f would be negative. If minus delta n by n is negative, delta f by f is positive. So C is correct. That's correct, guys. So you said C is correct and D is also correct, because this is independent of R. Is this relation dependent upon R? No, this is independent of R. Good, really good, Rohit. Really good, Rohit and Nanda. Really good, but Nanda, just be careful when you said C. I got the point. I mean A, because I got the point why you got it as. Okay. So yes, that is very important, guys. You would have solved it quicker, but you know what? So this is true. Independent of R, and if even R becomes minus negative, it's going to remain same. This is also true. This we need to calculate. Generally, if given options like this, may be true, but you don't want to remember that. It's not always true. Let's analyze option A is the next thing that we are going to analyze from this relation. So let's analyze that part. So option A says delta f by f is less than delta n by n. Okay. So basically delta f by f is what we need to compare two things. One is going to be, okay, let's analyze it over here. So we have this relation delta f by f is equal to minus delta, all in mod, guys. Just notice it's all in mod. So first of all, you need to analyze this thing. I wanted those numbers for you, but let's do a thing. I'll write it down over here. So one is n lies between 1 and 2. N lies between 1 and 2, and delta n is less than very small compared to n minus 1. What we need to compare? Delta n by n, and basically the other thing we need to compare is, okay, we need to compare delta n by n with what? Minus, or in this case it's mod, so delta n into 2n minus 1. Okay, quick way of doing this. It lies between the limit of, if you have any confusion in the exam, it lies between the limit of 1 and 2. Either 3 values or 2 values would be sufficient. Substitute n is equal to n is equal to 1.1. If you substitute n is equal to 1.1, how much do you get? This would become delta n divided by 1.1, and this would become delta n divided by 2 into 0.1. So basically 10 divided by 2, 5 times delta n. Whereas this is just, okay, let's write down this as 1.1. Okay, whereas this is less than delta n, and delta n divided by 1.1, whereas this is 5 times delta n. So basically this is greater. So there itself you came to know delta, this relation is wrong, because this is basically one. So this is basically delta f by f. So A is wrong. Maybe if you have any confusions, you may want to analyze this thing. This kind of things will happen, guys. Even I'll show you one more thing. Very easy question. What they've done is just interchange the values. If you hadn't noticed that small thing, it would become a mess. I mean, like, you would have done everything. Finally, you are struggling with the answer, even though you know it's an easy question. Okay, again, let's do a thing. One more safe side is going to be 1.9, but it is not necessary. It's already violated, so you may not want to mark A. So A is wrong. We put it as 1.5 or 1.9. It's delta n divided by 1.9. Whereas in this case, what it is going to be, it's going to be delta n divided by n minus 1 is how much? 1.9. 0.9 into 2, 1.8. Obviously, this is greater again, right? In denominator, you have a smaller number that is going to be greater. Simply A is false. Okay, now let's come to the most interesting part of it, which is going to be analyzing the B option. Yeah, I hope this is clear. Let's get into the B option. Before that, let me do a thing. I'll try to simplify things over here itself. So we need to find out the value of delta F, which we can derive from over here. And given to us, focal length is 20 centimeters, n is 1.5, and delta n is 10 to the power minus 3. Okay, data are given in the question. Okay, let's come to this part, the last part that we want to do. So we have this relation delta F by F. I believe this should be like super clear now. Just analyzing this part. So since n is great, n minus 1 is greater than delta n, I'm not writing down the delta n part of it. And you should not be also doing it because that is given in the question. So now this would be, yeah, B is correct, I guess. Yeah, B is also correct, guys. Really quick, really good. And this could have been, this is actually an easy question. If you're doing a calculation on your own, it wouldn't take even 5 minutes, but you would have scored 4 marks. That is pretty good. Okay. And how much is delta n given to you? 10 to the power minus 3. And n is 1.5. N minus 1 is going to be 0.5. It's 2 into 0.5, which is basically 1. And I'm writing down into F, and in this case, how much is F? This is basically 10 to the power minus 3. I'm not writing down the negative sign because what is being asked is mod of delta. So 10 to the power minus 3 into 20 centimeters. So everything is being analyzed in centimeters only, I guess. Delta F will be 0.02 centimeters. How much is delta F now? It's 0.02 centimeters. Okay. Yeah, this is 0.02 centimeters. Alright, B is also correct. It was actually a simple question. So that is sometimes the beauty. So A is false. I'm really sorry. So B, C, D are correct. Okay, that is the beauty of these kind of questions, guys. So when you analyzed, everything becomes really clear. This, don't make the mistake. Maybe substitute and verify it. That is very important, students. Really good though. Alright, really easy question. So one thing you can do is, this entire thing is not conservative. If you notice this force, so let's first of all understand how to work around this problem. Okay, a particle is moved on a path A, B, C, D, F, A in the shown figure in the presence of force F is equal to alpha into y I cap. Notice it carefully, students. Really students, really carefully. This is something that happens very often in your JEE Advanced. Alpha y I cap, 2 into alpha x j cap. Things are interchanged. It's y on the I side and x on the j side. Very carefully. Okay, where x is x and y are in meter and alpha is -1 Newton meter. The work done on the particle. So we have entered the integer type questions, which is going to be the easiest part of the entire JEE Advanced. The reason is you don't have to analyze multiple things. One direction you move, you get good amount of marks. Okay. And alpha is equal to -1 Newton per meter. Okay. So let's do this question. It's given to you, force done on this particle. It moves from A, so here it starts from A, I guess. It goes up until x is equal to 1. Yeah, x is equal to 1. And then it comes down from x. This would be 1, 1, and this would be 1 comma 0.5, and this would be 0.5 comma 0.5. This is going to be 0.5 comma 0. This is going to be 0 comma 0. Okay, these are all things. Okay, so one thing you could have done is like you could have calculated the entire thing. Still, it's going to not take you much time. But if you have noticed this force equation, this is non-conservative force. Okay, so how do you identify whether a force is a conservative force or a non-conservative force? Basically, you do del cross F. Okay, if you do del cross F and if you get it to be 0, it's a conservative force. So alpha y I cap plus 2 into alpha x j cap. Okay, alpha I guess. Okay, anyway, it does not matter. Even if it's a tough thing to write for you, you don't want to write it. Y I cap x j cap. Notice this thing. This is crucial. Okay, don't make mistake in this. This is some Newton. One thing I could do is I can write it down in the form of conservative force. Alpha into y I cap plus x into j cap. If you do del cross F of this part, del cross of this part, it would be 0. So this is a conservative part of the force, whereas alpha into x j cap is a non-conservative part of the force. You can do del cross F, it would not be it would not be 0. Okay, this let's call it as F1. This is going to be 0, whereas this F2 is not 0. Del cross F2 is not 0. So it's a closed loop. A, B, C, D, E, F, A. No work done by this part of the force. Work total is 0. You can do it for each and every line. Little shortcut. Okay, maybe you want to apply this in future in your exams or maybe in the coming exam, because this concept is becoming popular. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to only analyze some F dash, because I need to find out only the force in that in that total work done. Okay, total work done on this particle by the force. That is going to be alpha into x j cap only, and j dot j is 1 only. Along that y-axis direction is going to do the any work. Okay, that is simple. So force is alpha x into j cap. Okay, so here force is 0. This F dash, here F dash is 0. Okay, here work done is 0. So this is also work done. This also means work done is 0. This here work done is 0. Okay, I dot j, it's 0. Here also it's I dot j, it's 0. Okay, here also I dot j, it's 0. All right. It's along I cap, I dot j. Force is work done is equal to force into displacement. So only two places it's happening. One is across B and C, and the other one is across E and D. Okay. First of all, let's analyze what is the work done across the B and C, which is going to be force is going to be alpha and x is how much? Hi Raihan, hi. Hello students, hello. So anyone gave out the answer? Students, get started on this kind of questions. These are like easy questions actually. Okay. Yes, Raihan. Yeah. So what is x over here? X is equal to 1. So 1 j cap dot how much distance? Distance is 0.5. Here also it's 0.5. Okay, it's 0.5 on both E and D, so it's 0.5. Okay, I'm not writing down that j dot j. Anyway, this is going to be 0.5 alpha. Okay. All right. So this is going to be 0.5 alpha. I think this is visible. Come on, guys. Let me write it down. 0.5 alpha, and this is the only force doing the work. Now let's do a thing. Now the thing is, what is the work done along? Rest of the work done we don't care. The work done is 0, force is 0. That means work done is also 0. And we remove the conservative part of the force. We only have the non-conservative part of the force, which is going to do this work in the closed loop. Now this is going to be W dash into dE. Not writing down everything. It's alpha into x. How much is the force? 0.5. Alpha into 0.5. You can do it also, the complete thing. Definitely you must take up this question given the exam, because just notice that alpha into alpha x into j cap, and there it was something, this was like 2 alpha x into j cap, and that was like alpha y into I cap. That is very important to notice. And how much is the displacement? It's 0.5 as in the earlier case. So this is going to be alpha by 4. Total work done, W dash BC plus W dash DE, which is going to give you alpha by 2 plus alpha by 4, which is going to be 3 alpha by 4. That's it. Total work done is 3 alpha by 4. Okay, so that is it, guys. And alpha is minus 1, so it's going to be minus 3 by 4. Okay, let's see what is given in the question. So this is going to be minus 0.75 or minus 3. Easy part? Really easy. Let's move on to the next question. This is simple, guys. This is simple. This was a simple question. Again, a simple question. You don't want to miss out these kind of questions. Let me tell you what has been jumbled up in this thing, and you may want to notice this. You will do everything perfectly all right, and where things may mess up. Over here, Young's modulus for copper and steel are this and this. While in the figure you are always analyzing steel first, maybe it is possible you're not going by the data. And because you're going to analyze all the tension forces by, this tension forces balancing problem, maybe you're just, moving things here and there and going about it. First of all, let's read the question. A block of weight 100 newtons, so no mg, is suspended by copper and steel wires of same cross-sectional area 0.5 centimeters square. Length of one is root 3 meters, which is going to be the copper wire, and other one is 1 meter of the steel wire. Okay, the other hands are fixed on the ceiling as shown. The angles subtended by the copper and steel wires with the ceiling are 30 degrees and 60 degrees. If the elongation in the copper is delta LC and the elongation in steel is delta LS, the ratio of delta LC by LS given to you is the Young's modulus of the copper and the steel one. Basically, if you notice, Young's modulus of the copper is, I would write steel is twice that of copper. Okay. Why am I writing this? The reason is I don't want to substitute everything, and simply I want to find out the ratio of delta L by delta LS. If you remember, this is also irrelevant. Okay, let's get started with this question. Just one thing is like ys is equal to 2 times yc. Okay, let's move on. Tension balancing, that's what we need to do. Tension along this would give the elongation. Okay, Now, what is the thing we need to do? First of all, find out the tension. I'm going to call this tension along steel. Okay, this is tension along steel, this tension along copper, and this is tension along steel is going to be some component of tension along steel, which is basically 60 degrees. If this is 60 degrees, alternate angles. So TS cos 60. Okay, write it down. TS cos 60, and how much is this? This 30 degrees, alternative angles. Okay, and there is another thing you need to analyze. Okay, we'll come to that part next. That is going to be TC cos 30. Both are balanced out. Right? Alright. So TS of steel cos 60 plus 1 by 2 is equal to TC cos 30, which is root 3 by 2. Okay, which basically tells us that TS is root 3 times TC. Alright. This is one informative thing. Now the next thing is going to be you need to balance out the force. Okay, so what are those forces? We need to analyze them. That's very important. This is TS, and this is this side, some TS. How much is this angle? 30 degrees. If this is 60, this is 90, this is going to be 30 degrees. How about this angle? This is 30 degrees, that means this should be 60 degrees. Yeah, Kumar Nishant. Yeah, we'll do that, Kumar Nishant. Don't worry. Good, Rohit. Really good. Really good. Yeah, Kumar. Definitely we'll do that. Okay. So guys, now what you need to do, this is going to be TS cos 60. On this, blue color part, you'd have two things. One is going to be TS cos 30. I'm sorry, TS cos 30. This is steel. And how about this? This is TC cos 60 is equal to how much? 100 newtons is what was given to us. Okay, don't need to do 100 into 10 or something like that. Don't do that. And TS is root 3 times TC. If I substitute this from here, okay, that is root 3 times TC. How much is cos 30? Root 3 by 2. And how much is cos 60? Basically by 2. And this is 100. This is 3 and 2. This is going to be 2. TC is equal to 100. And that would give you TC is 50. So you know everything now that you need to analyze the elongation. And if this is 50, how much is TS? Okay, let's write it down on the next one. We got two things. One is TC is 50 newtons. And TS is, we need not even write it, okay? TS is, actually we need not even have done this. We could have done the entire thing even without this, students. I don't know why did I do this, but anyway, just the same way I moved on and did it. That is fine, but yeah. It is going to be 50 root 3. Alright, and one more data we have is I think y steel ys is equal to 2 times yc. This is 1 meter, this is root 3 meter. So elongation, if you remember, Young's modulus is equal to stress by strain, and that is nothing but tension per unit area. I'm calling this as T1 by unit area. Tension. Okay. Let's do for one, and the rest will be clear. Ys is equal to Ts for the steel divided by area. We're just writing down area as area because both had same area, if you remember. Both had same area. And strain is going to be delta L S by L S. Okay, length is different. How much is the length? Actually, we need not even have derived it. I don't know why did I derive this. Here itself the problem was over. Okay, this entire thing is useless. This calculation is totally useless. Okay, I hope you remember that. I mean, you understood it. This wasn't necessary at all. Yeah, exactly. That could have been really that simple. Anyway, delta S is how much? From this equation, you would have the value of delta S, and delta S is, and you want to, probably incorporate these ways in your exam. Ls by root L, ys. Okay. Now this is one thing that we have, and similarly we would also have that one for delta LC as well. So that could be TS by A, TC by A. TC by A, and this is how much? Again, LC by YC. Okay, could have substituted here and simply could have come up with the answer rather than doing the entire thing. So substitute everything. Let's keep it in one terms, and that could be C. In everything could be in C. For example, this would be TC by root 3. Okay, TS is equal to root 3 TC. So this is root 3 TC. LS, how much is length of steel wire? 1. Sorry, really sorry. This should be root 3 TC. So that's what I'm saying. The first that entire calculation was just a waste of time. It could be fast, but that wasn't necessary at all. Okay, root 3 TC divided by area. Because you don't want to play with the numbers and the exam, students, that creates a little bit of stress. And what is LS? LS is 1 meter, and this is going to be 2 times YC. Okay, this is just going to remain the TC by LC by A, and you have to substitute the value of LC. Other than that, you don't need to do anything. So that is root 3 TC divided by AYC. Okay, and if I am going to take LS by LC by LS, so simply from this equation you can see if these are like two different equations, right? One for steel, just marking it. Clarity, this is steel, and this is copper. Okay, simply you already know what to do now, and that is as simple as that. So if I'm going to take the ratio, just taking the ratio, this would get cancelled out, this would get cancelled out, this would get cancelled out. What is left over? Root 3 would get cancelled out. What is left over is only 2. If I'm going to say delta LC, which is greater than delta LS, so delta LC by LS is just 2. Okay. No need of substituting all the numbers, etc., and then cancelling it out. It takes a lot of time, guys. Okay, this is how it should be. Exams and quicker. Okay, LC by delta LS. All right, that is it. That is it. Okay. This, if you notice, basically, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, that's all you need to know about this question. It's really that simple. This is how you would go about solving this. No need of deriving anything. No need of finding out any value. This is a very, very interesting problem, students. So what is happening in this kind of problem? There would be an observer. There would be like generally, two moving sources, and they are generating some sound with some frequency. Doppler effect. Okay, let's analyze this question. What we need to know, actually I wouldn't do this question and if I had got an opportunity, I mean if I'm doing the exam, because the calculation is going to be super intensive. I mean the question is simple. A train S1 is moving with uniform velocity 108 km per hour, and another train S2 is standing on the platform. An observer moves with a uniform velocity 36 km per hour. Your observer is over here. That's the train moving with 108 km per hour. This guy is moving with 36. Basically, this S1 is moving with 3 times more speed, and both the trains are blowing whistle at the same frequency of 120 Hz. Okay, over 600 meters away from S2, this is given to you, and of course S1 is 800 meters away. So what is the number of beats heard by the observer? So both trains are blowing whistles at the same frequency, 120 Hz. Okay. First of all, and the speed of sound is given to us 330, normal one, 330 meters per second. So let's analyze this question first, and then we'll dive into it. Beats is basically going to be F1 minus F2, for this observer with respect to source 1, and for this observer with respect to S2. Okay. That is it. That is it. It's going to be. So if I'm going to say, so this is rather easier to do. Okay. Anyway, let's do this. First of all, we need to convert everything to meters per second. Else we'll have to convert sound to centimeters, kilometers per hour. So 108 kilometers, 108 into 108. If you had any confusion, many of you know how to do it directly from the expression. If not, this is going to be 5 by 18. I think so. This 1000 and this is 3600 meters per second. Okay, and this is 18 and this is twice. Basically, this 3 times. This 30 meters per second. Okay, I'm just erasing this part. Okay, let it be. So this is 30 meters per second. This 1/3 of it, 36 into 3 is 108. Okay, that could have been even concluded over here, but this is like 10 meters per second then. Now the thing is, beats is basically what, if I'm going to say this is frequency, not writing down the observer value, so this is F with respect to S2, and if this is frequency with respect to S1, the beats is going to be F of S2 minus F of S1. You can take a mod to finally if it's negative or etc. But let's do this question, and it's going to be super easy. And what is S2? FS2 is really simple. Only this guy is moving. So I hope you remember this. F is equal to F naught. In this case, both the whistles are of same frequency, 125 Hz. 125 Hz, 125 Hz. V plus or minus V observer divided by V plus or minus this. Okay, V minus or plus. V minus or plus of V source. If source moves towards you, you would observe a greater frequency, and if the observer is moving towards you, the observer is moving towards the source, still you'd observe a greater frequency. Okay, that is the logic, guys. That is the logic. That's how Doppler effect works. Okay, let's move to this, and that also tells you how to remember things. Plus minus plus. Okay, so the sign would be reversed, and now one thing is we'll start analyzing with the frequency of fs2, because that is simple. It's only 10 meters per second this way, and no stationary. This is 0. So really simple. This is going to be f0 into moving towards frequency should increase 330. What is this sound, speed of sound? 330 plus 10. Now the frequency does not change. Okay, that is basically 340. So it's fs2 is how much? 34 by 33. Okay, 34 by 33 f0. Yeah, speed of sound, guys. This is speed of sound. Okay, this Doppler effect question, if you're first year students, this will be there, I guess. Yeah, but maybe you're just entered first year. So this is Doppler effect, guys. Okay, Doppler effect, what happens is, if there is some source that is moving towards you, you'd observe as if the frequency has decreased. Think in terms of wave, think in terms of relativity, and similarly, if you are moving towards the source, the frequency would still decrease. Okay, if you're moving away, so that kind of things can be done. So you basically you can derive this equation. We'll derive this equations. But the thing is, this is the form of the equation: v plus or minus of observer with observer speed, and v minus or plus of observer. Sorry, source. Okay, first thing is moving towards each other, then increase in frequency. This is speed of sound. Okay. So yes, that is it. Okay, and similarly you can calculate S1 as well. Okay, good, really good, and yeah, this is super calculation intensive, guys. Good, Rohit, really good, Rohit. This is towards this guy. How much we need to analyze? This is 10 meters per second. And how much is this? This is 30 meters per second. Okay, in this way. Now, what about towards each other? Now, that is what matters. In your Doppler effect, and this now the thing is, let's analyze for each one of them and get the answer simply. Sorry. Okay, now the thing is, this guy is moving towards the source, and the train is also somewhat moving towards the observer up until at least this point. And how much is this? 600 plus, so hypotenuse is how much? 1000. This 8 and 6, that would give you 10. So this is going to be 1000. Okay. Now let's do a thing. So we need to find out the components along, towards each other, which is basically going to be the cos of this angle. Okay, let's call this alpha and this beta. What is cos of alpha? Cos of alpha is 800 by 1000, which is nothing but 8 by 10. Okay, and what is beta? Beta is going to be cos of beta. This guy is going to be 600 divided by 1000. 6 by 10. Right, this 4 by 5, this 3 by 5. Okay. If you are very and one more thing, students, please do memorize the formulae of 53 degrees and 37 degrees tan, sine and cos. One is enough. Okay, tan is enough. Okay, and rest can be done. And that being said, what is the value of this guy towards the train? If I'm going to talk about V observer relative, how much is it? 6 by 10 into 10. This guy's velocity is 10. That's going to give me 6 meters per second. Whereas observe source towards the source relative velocity is towards the observer is 30 into 8 by 10. Okay, that is it. It's basically, I'm saying what I have done is velocity cos alpha, cos theta. Okay, now basically the components towards them. I believe this is clear. Okay. This is VSR and this is VOR. Now this is going to be 24 meters per second. Alright, now the calculation is going to become super intensive. The frequency is how much? F0, same frequencies. F0 means that sound of the frequency of the whistle. And now observer you add plus 6. And for this guy, since it's moving towards him, you are going to subtract minus 24. Okay, 330 plus 6, 336 sound. Velocity of sound, that is 330 meters per second, and on the denominator you would get it as 306. Okay, 306. Now what is the number of beats? This all in hertz. Okay, this all in hertz anyway. The number of beats is F1 S2 minus S1. We just derived S1. This is going to be into F0, sorry. Okay, anyway F0 we haven't written, so this is F2. F2 is how much? You can further simplify this, but guys, you need to do the calculation. We are not going to do that because it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to be 8.122, 8. If you solve this thing, which is basically 336 divided by 304 minus of 34 by 33 into F0, which is how much? Something would come up, I don't know like what is the value. It should come between 8.12 and 8.12, 8.12 or something like that. Okay, this is going to be 120 hertz. You're going to substitute this as 120. Okay, simple. This is how you need to do it. This could have been more, calculation friendly, but yeah. But the problem was actually conceptually simple, but not at all calculation friendly question, So that is fine. That often happens. That's the reason I told you. The moment I come to see this, maybe I'll spend a little bit of time trying to find out how to do this. If it takes a lot of time, I would generally try to move away from these kind of questions, because I'm trying to calculate, it's taking 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Or the simplest way is, do the entire calculation, 336 into 36. Rather simplify this, things would become little easy. Simplify this, things would become little easier. If you can note, this is 306, I think. Okay, this was 306. So I think this was 306. Okay, but anyway, this will also go by 6. This will also go by 6 if you notice it. Okay, this will be 51 and this would be 50. So this plus 5, 56. Okay, 56. This would be 56 and this would be 51. Still a little lengthier, but it's going to take a lot of time. Alright, so you can do this part of it. We don't want to spend time on this calculation part. You'd get it as beats, you'd get it as something like 8.12 and odd, like what Rohit stated. Alright, let's move on and let's get started with the next question. This is an interesting question because we don't want to miss the easier part of it. And this question, let's first of all read this question and understand what is being asked. It's really simple, guys. It's really simple. I'll tell you what is needed, and if you can't remember that, there's a way to do it. Okay, parallel plate capacitor of capacitance C as spacing D between two plates having area A. The region between the plates is filled with. But have you noticed one thing? You'll forget the Doppler question. Integer based questions are the fastest. In this case, like even in the earlier case, first case we did it fully, second case we need not have done it fully, the third case we have to do it fully, but now in this fourth case as well you don't have to do it fully. Something alpha into k epsilon naught a d ln by 2. At some point you'll come to know just the value of alpha without putting in much effort. Okay, quite fast. You need to move in single direction. Easiest part of the entire paper. Multiple correct answer questions, at least rewarding. Single correct answer questions, time consuming. So this as far as JEE Advanced analysis is concerned. So parallel to its so the region between the plates is filled with n dielectric layers. So there are n dielectric layers, each with thickness d by n. Okay, so it is as if saying there are there is a capacitor. So let's draw a diagram, and this capacitor has a distance d between them and an area A. Now the thing is, what is happening? There are like n layers of d by n, d by n, d by n. Okay, n layers of d by n, some different dielectric. That's why they are saying n dielectric layers. And let's read entirely what is happening. The dielectric constant of the mth layer is k into k 1 plus m by n. Okay, something it's varying with each slab is having different dielectric constant. For an example, the first dielectric slab, if you substitute n is equal to 1, it should be like 1, it should be like n plus 1 by n. Okay, for nth layer it would be something like 2k. Forget that point. Let's get into the question then. So, but all of these dielectric layers are of equal width. Any layer you take in between. And the other thing is, let's say this is the mth layer. It would be at a distance, something that is not relevant to our calculation though now at this point. Let's analyze what is happening. But what is the dielectric constant of this layer? If I'm going to call this mth layer, it's going to be k into k 1 plus m by. Okay, now what is happening in this case? Let's say there is another dielectric at some point over here. You have something like this over here. So this would have also some dielectric constant depending upon the number it is. Everything is of d by n, 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 d by n. So this is also d by n, and this is also d by n. So each one of them have different capacitance, actually speaking frankly. So if I'm going to call this as capacitance 1 of the first layer, so on for the Cm, and for this of as C, let's say this is CK, CL, something like that, MNL. This can be like CL or something like that. Okay, so then what is the effective dielectric, what is the effective capacitance? Because the question is talking about capacitance. And also notice this thing, n is greater than 10 to the power 3. Maybe this is necessary somewhere during our calculation. Alright, so now let's get into the question and solve it pretty quickly. And the capacitance, if you notice, 1 by C equivalent is going to be 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2, so on till, in between there will be somewhere 1 by Cm, so on till 1 by Cn. Okay, what would be the value of capacitance for any given layer? It's going to be, so let's do this problem. I hope you understood the problem. So 1 by C is, okay, I'm not writing C equivalent, the capacitance of the entire thing is given to you, for the entire arrangement is given to you, 1 by C1, so on till 1 by Cm. And the most important data is Km is equal to K into 1 plus M. So if I am going to say of layer M, the capacitance is going to be Km into epsilon naught A by D. So they are all in series, guys, right? This, I hope you know, we have discussed this a lot. This all are in series. That's why we are able to write this. Okay, let's move on then. So Km into epsilon naught into all have the same area A and the same thickness, which is going to be delta. Okay, let's keep it as like this only. So what would be 1 by Cm? 1 by Cm would be something like A into epsilon naught, sorry, delta by A into epsilon naught into 1 by Km. We need to absolutely write down the value of 1 by Km, else this cannot be done quickly. Any guesses on the answer side, students? It's quite simple. Hi. So how much is this 1 by Km? K is K into something. So let's do a thing. I'm going to shortly write the value of 1 by Km. Maybe over here. Maybe over here. Okay. So if Km is K into 1 plus m by n, it's going to be n plus m. So this, it would be 1 into n plus m into n for any given m. M, we can say it goes from 1 to so m goes from 1 to n, something like that. But n is very large, guys. Do remember, n is very large. That means there are many such layers, many such layers. Okay. And that being said, it is how much? 1 plus m plus n, really sorry. So yes, K into, really sorry, this is m plus of n, and let's move on. So this should be n divided by K into n. I'm writing now n plus m. Okay, and if you substitute delta, value of delta, which is nothing but d by n, n would cancel out. Okay, Cm is equal to delta, I'm writing it down again anyway, by A epsilon naught n divided by, okay, n divided by n plus m into some 1 by K. Okay, 1 by K is going to be constant. Delta, it's d by n. Yeah, we'll come to it. Okay, I didn't get your question. I'll have a look at your question. Okay, we will get into that. So delta is d by n. D by n, n would get cancelled out. Sorry, this is 1 by m, 1 by Cm. Okay, yeah, this is 1 by Cm, guys. Sorry, this 1 by Cm, this is Cm, this is 1 by Cm. Okay, and d by n, n would get cancelled out. This would be d divided by A epsilon naught n divided by n plus m. All right. Now think about it. What is the value of 1 by Cn 1 plus I think this would go until n minus 1 or n. Just a moment. So there are dn plus 1 layers. Okay, no limit is given to you. We can take it from 1 or we can take it from 0, but there should be only n such layers. If you take it from 1, we can do it till n. Okay, so the C equivalent is going to be 1 by C, in this case is going to be 1 by C1, so on till 1 by C2, so 1 by C3, because we are going to notice something interesting. 1 by Cm, so on till 1 by Cn. Okay, but if you notice this pattern, you can take out this. There would be a k d a epsilon, d by a epsilon naught. Okay, d by a epsilon naught. This is 1, just 1, because d by n would get cancelled out. It's basically n by n. So it's d by a epsilon naught is common. This is what? This is 1 plus n plus 1 plus of n plus 2, so on till 1 plus n plus m plus of so on till 1 plus some 2n. Okay, this is a harmonic progression. This is a HP. Okay, generally there is a way, there is an equation. We are not taught about it. I'll tell you what is the short trick around this kind of problems. So what you can do is think about this. This is like 1 by x graph. This way to too many n's, 10 to the power 3 n's. So this is basically 1 by x graph. Even if not, this is sort of the way to go about it. So you can think about this as 1 by x plus 1, 1 by x plus 2, so on. It will move on, and you will have, if I had to calculate the area of each place, then I would simply do this. If this is 1 by x, okay, instead of n plus 1, you can take it as 1 by x, 1 by x, and this would be like or basically n is equal to x or something like that. Then you would observe this is x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3, so on till x plus n. Okay, so but this thing is also the area under this curve. Okay, which is nothing but in this case I can say if this is y is equal to 1 by x, this is what is dA? dA is dx into 1 by x. Okay, dA is, so this is just for HP. If you know the formula of HP, you can directly go about it. That is not at all a problem. But if you don't know the formula of HP, this is how you would go about it. Okay, I think this is clear. Now let's move on to the next part and let's solve this. And so this would be, I'm saying this is nothing but d by a epsilon naught into k. There should be a k. So this should be a k a epsilon naught. So anyway, that's all not relevant, guys. Beyond a level, you understand the answer is really simple. If you know this concept and this concept, you could have done it very quickly. This is actually a very easy problem. I can say this is nothing but 1 by x integral dx, where this x goes from certain value. Think about it as it goes from n plus 1 to 2n, right? So that would be d divided by a epsilon naught ln x log of x integrated. That's going to go from n plus 1 to 2n. So what is the value of 1 by cm now? 1 by cm is equal to d by a epsilon naught, substituting the value d by a into k epsilon naught, there should be a k as well, okay, into log of 2n minus log of n plus 1. Okay, and this is going to give you an interesting result. It is going to be log of 2n divided by n plus 1. You know this, how to do this part. Okay, and n is very large, 10 to the power 3. So I'm going to write it down approximately as d by a k into a epsilon naught log of 2n by n. instead of n plus 1. So this would be basically d by Ka epsilon naught log of 2. That is how much? 1 by Cm. What is the value of Cm then? Simply said, Cm is K. But you wouldn't be doing this entire thing, guys. The moment you arrived at this solution, you arrived at this. So this is something that most of you know. Okay, there is no issues in this, I believe. So this is where maybe a little bit time would take, but if you understood this concept in future, you can apply it. So it's not at all a problem. And once you arrive to this part, while integrating itself, you know it's going to go from 2n to n plus 1, and n plus n is very large, so alpha's value should be 1. Okay, all right, I'll have a look at your question. Okay, so Cm should be how much? Ka epsilon naught divided by d into log of 2. Divided by log of 2, I'm sorry. So it should be divided by log of 2. But this entire thing wasn't necessary. Value of alpha is simply 1 if you remember the question. So make sure you understood this concept, because this is simply HP integration concept where n is large enough, you can do it. Else you would have an equation for a plus d plus a plus 2d, where d is equal to 1, a is equal to n, then you take the value expression of that thing, HP. Okay, so it's really a simple problem. The answer should have been 1. Value of alpha is being asked. Really quickly you could have said it is 1. Okay, this much K epsilon naught a d ln, we have all of that. All right. So that was again a simple problem, I guess. Only the third one was time taking. This is also a very simple one, and also a very interesting one, very practical one. And let's understand what is being told in the problem. So a liquid of at 30 degrees Celsius is poured slowly into a calorimeter where the temperature is 110 degrees Celsius. The boiling temperature of the liquid is 80 degrees Celsius. Okay, so the liquid boils at 80 degrees Celsius and the calorimeter is right now at 110 degrees Celsius. It is found that the first 5 grams of the liquid completely evaporates after pouring another 80 gram of completely evaporates. That means at 80 degrees the liquid has reached and it evaporated also. Okay, and after pouring another 80 gram of the liquid, the equilibrium temperature is found to be 50 degrees Celsius. The ratio of the latent heat of the liquid to its specific heat will be. Okay, that is given to you. One issue with the question is they haven't told us, actually this question has an issue. They haven't told us that the container reaches 80 degrees Celsius. But assuming that this container reaches 80 degrees Celsius during process 1, so there are two processes. We have observed it carefully. Initially 5 grams was poured, and when this 5 grams was poured, what happened? This liquid reached 80 degrees Celsius and it evaporated. And the second process is such that let me write it down. The second process, what is happening is a simple one. They're reaching an equilibrium at 50 degrees Celsius. Okay. So process 1 is one where the liquid is getting from 5 gram, I believe. 5 grams is getting to gram. Okay, GM is gram. Is getting to 80 degrees Celsius and evaporating. So some phase change is happening. Okay, process 2 is where, assuming in this process 1, calorimeter reaches from 110 degrees to 80 degrees. Okay, some heat transfer should be there. So let's assume this calorimeter reaches 80 degrees in this process. Because the liquid evaporates at 80 degrees, then the phase change happened. Everything came to equilibrium at 80 degrees. Now process 2 is one where calorimeter and 80 gram of the liquid reaches 50 degrees Celsius. Okay, they are reaching 50 degrees Celsius. The liquid evaporates at 80 degrees Celsius and it is initially at, what is the initial temperature of the liquid? It's 30 degrees Celsius. Alright. So there are two processes involved in it. Process 1, where the liquid, 5 gram liquid is poured in. It absorbs the heat. It reaches 80 degrees Celsius and the phase change occurs. And the calorimeter probably reaches 80 degrees Celsius as well. Okay. And there is, because maybe beyond 5 grams it did not evaporate. 85 grams of spoon, etc. 5 grams evaporated, first 5 grams evaporated. Okay. And beyond that it is not evaporating, it is trying to come to equilibrium. And after pouring 80 grams, just a moment, okay, the first 5 grams evaporated. Okay, it is found that the first 5 grams evaporated. Okay, so no issues in the question. So the calorimeter reached 80 degrees Celsius when it was evaporating, when the evaporation stopped, and some heat is being transferred until they reach 50 degrees Celsius. So no issues in the question. So yeah. So now the thing is, what is happening? One is some phase change is happening in the process 1. And the process 2, it's basically, just heat exchange. Phase change is happening, heat exchange is happening everywhere, but it's heat exchange plus an additional phase change is happening. And this liquid is at 30 degrees Celsius, it reached 80 degrees over here, whereas over here it reached 50 degrees. Okay, let's do this question. It's really simple. So process 1, I would like to write the equation. So process 1, if you remember what happened, the liquid evaporated, the 5 grams of the liquid evaporated and reached 80 degrees Celsius. So from 30 degrees, it has reached 80 degrees Celsius and the calorimeter only first 5 grams evaporated. So until then, it has reached 80 degrees Celsius, which means beyond that, it's not able to come to that 80 degrees. Okay. Anyway, so what is the ratio of the latent heat to its specific heat? Okay, it's all about the liquid. Okay. Okay, let's say heat capacity of the calorimeter is H. Okay, this has a heat capacity of H. And what has happened? It reached from 110 degrees Celsius to 80 degrees Celsius. And what about your liquid? That 5 grams of liquid? That 5 grams of liquid at some specific heat capacity, some fixed specific heat capacity, it has reached 80 degrees Celsius from 30 degrees Celsius. Okay, plus of it has also evaporated some latent heat, 5 into latent, 5 grams into m into L, mc delta T, m into L, no temperature change, this heat capacity into delta T. How much is this? This is 30H is equal to this is 250 C, which is the heat capacity of the liquid, and the latent heat of the liquid 5L. And now there is also a process 2 involved in this, and this process 2 is going to give us the hint. Okay, the process 2 is simple, where the calorimeter reaches 50 degrees Celsius from 80 degrees. So the calorimeter is reaching, now it has already reached 80 degrees Celsius. Both of them have reached 80 degrees Celsius. So it is reaching 50 degrees Celsius, 80 minus 50 at equilibrium. And your calorimeter, your liquid is basically getting heated from 30 degrees to 50 degrees. So it is how many grams? 80 grams. So it's 80 C into how much? 50 minus 30. That's basically 20. Okay. And let's work on the process 2 equation. We need the process 2 equation yet. I think we have some space over here. I'll directly write down the process 2 equation. If you notice the process 2 equation, this is 30H. Okay, this is also 30H. And how much is this? 80 minus 30, 20, 20 into 80. That is 1600 C. Okay. Hi Roshan. Hi. So this 1600 C. All right. Now both of them are equal. You could have basically equated both the equation. So it is how much? 1600 C from process 1 and process 2. From process 1 and process 2, we could have simply equated the equations on the right hand side. Alright. So if I'm equating the equations on the right hand side, it is 1600 C is equal to 250 C. This comes from, okay, I'll write it down later, plus 5L. Okay. Let's, maybe we want to use the CL or maybe not at this moment. Let's do a thing. I'll just mark out. This is from process 2. This is from process 1. Okay. Good evening, Roshan. So we are discussing JEE Advanced integer-based problems. Okay. So now the thing is, you have an equation like this where you would get to, you know, this is going to be 1350 C is equal to 5L, multiply with 2 on both sides and cut off the 0. So this is going to be 270 C is equal to L. So L by C's ratio would be 270 simply. L by C's ratio is awesome. Easy? Again a simple problem, guys. Simple means simple, this is also simple. Simply solving some mathematical equation, more physics, less mathematics when we move to integer based problem. That is surprising, I know. That is how it is, that is how your paper is designed, and that is how your paper was given last year. Now let's get into the very interesting, very practical problem. So this is about optical fiber. You use same kind of principles. This is about total internal reflection. Okay, total internal reflection is a part of optical fiber. By S, L by S is equal to 120. I didn't get your point, Rohit. Which problem you're talking about? Not 120, Rohit. Do the math. It's 270. L by S is 270. It's advanced, Roshan. Rohit, 120 is not correct. It's 270, right? Clearly it's 270. Just don't do the, so sometimes it is okay. One of the things I wanted to discuss in, like your JEE Advanced or beat any exam, don't oversimplify things. Even, it may look, it may appear easier. In this case, if I had oversimplified things, it might have been tougher to solve. Maybe it's not so easy. Okay, understanding the question anyway, it's going to take you 1 minute and odd. If you're very used to the things, maybe less time. Generally, it's going to take 1 minute and odd to just understand the question. Okay, so then you don't want to spend your time rest on maybe like 1 minute, let's say 30 seconds, 1 minute, depending upon your exam mode. Let's assume to be 1 minute. Then you have 2 to 4 minutes, depending upon what your target is. In that situation, you don't want to spend time, oversimplifying, doing all the math, spending time on math intensive problems. So I could have just kept it off 30H over here and 30H over here and just equated it, since I only wanted the ratio of latent heat and specific heat. It's just a tip for you, because this kind of tips we used to get, or maybe not get, but you have them, so you can just make use of those. All right. So I think this 250C suddenly disappeared. I don't know why. Okay, it's all correct. And one more thing is, you see in exam it might be little tough to do that divided by 5. You can do it 2, that is 35, 270, or you can simply multiply with 2 on both sides and do it, whichever you are convenient with. Okay, some simple tips you can make use of in your exams. So yeah, let's do the thing and move on. Alright, so this is an internal reflection problem, guys, and you must remember that N1 should be greater than N2. Your internal reflection is happening. Let's read the question first of all. A planar structure of length L and width W is made up of 2 different optical media of refractive indices N1 is equal to 1.5 and this is N2 is equal to 1.414. So it can follow internal reflection if L is greater than W. So this is a very large length, very long length or large length greater than W. A ray entering B will emerge from CD only if the internal condition, internal reflection condition is met. Yes. Else all would be lost to the cladding, or depending upon what kind of it is. Generally in core and cladding, it will be all lost to the cladding, to this part of it. It would escape, some would be lost, etc. So L is equal to 9.6 meters given to us, and if the incident angle is varied such that the maximum time is taken by the ray to exit the plane CD, that's to exit from CD somehow. Now for exiting, what they are saying is it should take maximum time. That means it should travel maximum distance is t into 10 to the power minus 9 seconds. So we need to find out that maximum time it takes to exit. And what is the time? Really simple problem, students. Just stay focused and just make use of simple things in this kind of problems. Okay, let's move into the problem and understand how to solve it. And one of the things I've told you is this should be, like critical angle, and it should be anything greater than critical angle. Okay, anything greater than critical angle. The simple math based problem, to be honest, it's not a lot of physics based problem. Physics ends over this critical angle thing. And one more thing, is the most length would be traveled if it's going to go like this. Okay, I'll take an example, which may not be possible, but let's say the lesser the angle, the more the distance. The lesser the angle, the lesser the angle, the lesser the angle, the more the distance. As less as this, more the distance it will travel. But practically speaking, it cannot travel something beyond this. The angle cannot be lesser than critical angle in our condition, because it has to travel maximum length, maximum distance. It has to take maximum time, which means maximum distance. Okay, simple. So that being said, okay, this part I'm just erasing. I hope you understood this. So this is how it will travel maximum, but that maximum could be only critical angle, because you don't want to lose all the light outside. Okay, and beyond this angle, it's going to take lesser and lesser time. Think about it straight, it will just move from here to here, it will take the least time. Alright, let's now calculate what has been asked to us. It's a simple problem. So let's do a thing, let's draw a triangle as usual. That's what we need to do. I'll do a thing, I'll just draw a small triangle over here. That would be helpful. So this has to be bare minimum, that is going to be theta c. A large, a very small angle theta c, so that it covers all the distance. How much is theta c? N1 is given to us 1.5. This should be 1.414. It should move from heavier medium to lighter medium. So sine of theta c, or 1.5 into sine of theta c, we generally assume to be glazing. It should be 1.414 into sine 90. So sine theta c should be 1.414 divided by 1.5. And let's do some math. Your physics is over. Now let's call this to be some distance L, and this to be some distance. Okay, this to be some distance L, and this to be some distance H. Okay, now the thing is, it is going to travel this distance. Let's call this as this as L, because I'm trying to correlate with this L, this height, and this as some D. Okay, it base hypotenuse, and let's call this as C, something like C. C is also confusing. Let's call this as D. Okay, now the thing is, this is D, and we know this is length L. This hypotenuse should be D, and this thing should be this opposite side should be L. All right, good, really good. Okay, some dx, whatever you would like to take it. Now the thing is, you can say this is also equal to some the small length can be divided by L by N, and this overall distance it's going to travel d by n, again a d by n, again a d by n, not that n, this is not refractive index n, some like small lengths we are dividing it. If this is L by n and this is nothing but like d by n, it will again cover a d by n, again in the time it would have traveled horizontally L by n, again horizontally L by n, again a d by n, horizontally L by n, it's nothing but a d by n. So the total distance dt by so this should be, rewrite it, this should be how much? This should be capital L by n, and this should be total distance dt traveled by n. So this is the distance traveled by the light. So cancel out the n, and what do you get? So small parts, it's basically equal to that L by n and dt by n. Yeah, total length traveled is 10 meters. Good. And given to you the length is 9.6 meters. Okay, 9.6 meters. Now let's get into the calculation part of it. We need to first of all find out dt. dt is how much? dt is dt by L is how much? 1.5 into 1.444. Okay, and dt is equal to L into 1.5 or 150 divided by 1.44, which is equal to 9.6 into 1.5 divided by 1.4. Okay, if you work this out, you will get us 10 meters. So this would be, you can write down this as 140 and this as 150. This would be like something like this would go by 8, and you would get us 25, and on the denominator it's basically 12 into 12 if you remember. This would be like 24, and this would be 0.4. Okay, 96 is 24 fours, so you'd get distance as 10 meters. That's but our calculation was not to find out this distance. Good, really good, really good. And one more thing, students, what is the speed of the light in this? So the total distance we know is 10 meters. Now let's come to the point, what is the speed of the light inside this medium? The speed, really good, Rohit. And what is the speed of the light in this medium? Normal speed in vacuum divided by n1. How much is this in this case? 1.5. So what would be the total time taken? Total time is equal to total distance, speed by distance. Distance by speed. Really sorry. Okay, distance by speed, and this would be 10 meters divided by 3 into 10 to the power 8, which is nothing but the speed of light in vacuum or air, and divided by 1.5. This goes 2s, this goes 5, so you would get 5 into 10 to the power minus 8. Really simple. Time taken is 5 into 10 to the power 8. So the value of t 10 to the power minus 8. Okay, but what is being asked? 10 to the power minus 9. Notice this thing, guys. Simple problem, but don't do this mistake. You would have even solved many model problems around this kind of thing in the capacitor thing, but small mistakes would bring down your marks. So your t should not be 5 but rather 50. Okay, you got total time taken is 5 into 10 to the power minus 8 seconds. Okay, it's all in meters and seconds. This was meters, so you'd get it in seconds. Notice the units, notice these kind of small things. they will influence your marks, guys. They will influence your marks. The objective of the session is not just to discuss the concepts in the papers, but also the method, some things that you should notice, some methods that you should adapt. For an example, you could have rushed from here. Of course, rush as soon as you understood it's 5, but don't forget this 10 to the power 8 and do not, neglect this order. That was the thing in this question. For an example, in this question, you could have arrived at the answer without solving the entire, without condensing or simplifying things, like keeping this as 30H would have helped you. Simply, you could have solved it faster and understand the process 1 and process 2, and you could have moved faster. We discussed for rest of them the tricks how to do this. And for an example, the capacitor question, you should have either known the HP or you should have gone by the graph. Okay, some or the other, you would get from here itself the intuition that it's log 2 inside it, or probably at this point. Quickly proceed to the question and answer accordingly. Value of alpha is being asked. Okay, good. It should be 5 into 10 to the power minus 8, but don't forget, right, 10. And in this question, it's little time taking. You might have to do it. And I simply know the answer. It's 8.12, so you'd have to do it, guys. And this question, even this calculation was, not necessary at all. You just keep everything in terms of 1, like in copper. Generally, you'd get you'd have to look at the option and then move on. Generally, then you would get the answer. Simply, this second one was 100 newtons was not at all necessary for our calculation. Totally misleading. We could have done everything from here itself. Okay. So notice those misleading things. Similarly over here the copper wire exists, here the steel wire exists, and you're noticing and working around the problem, and you have extra time. Okay. And in this question, you could have taken a shortcut, else you could have done the entire thing, but it's a short score. But what is the thing to notice? Alpha y I cap and 2 alpha x j cap. Very, very tiny things like this. Here, what is the thing that you need to analyze? Delta f by f and delta n by n relation. A says so, C says so, and D says so. Okay, so that is there the hint lies. So you go by that method. And similarly, in this question, you analyze the limiting condition. There you go. You got 2 answers. Okay, first of all, read the question, read the options. You will understand what is the thing you need to analyze. But from the limiting conditions 0, f cube epsilon naught, it's quite sort of pushing you to think that probably the charge is contained entirely inside that geometrical structure, and maybe totally the geometrical structure is inside. So write down the limiting condition. Then don't forget the 2 sides of the sphere. These are like some important things that you need to know. And this question we did it. Maybe you may want to do this, but we found a shortcut to solve it. And this is not the answer, and this is not the answer. Maybe this and this are the answer. So that kind of things can be done, quickly you can adopt ways to solve the problems and decide which part of the question you want to live in multiple correct, and which part of the question, which single correct question you don't want to do initially, and maybe starting the approach with multiple correct, then going for integer based, or starting from integer based, because integer based, if you remember, it took hardly any time, guys. Literally speaking, if you knew this concept and if you had moved faster, not just you just calculated, this is like 2 minutes to 3 minutes. Maybe if you knew the concept and that did, even if you had written down the values, it's max to max 5 minutes, but short to 7 minutes and 8 minutes. So again, when we come to this point, maybe at the end you want to do this, just keep it aside. And the moment you understood it's a long calculation, you leave it alone. Because most of the time we have the tendency to get started as soon as we see a problem. And then if you would have done this as well, quite quickly you could have done it if you knew this concept. Okay, if not, probably you are thinking about HP, how to do this HP, etc. Maybe a little bit more time is taken over there. But frankly speaking, this also wouldn't, finding out that alpha is equal to 1 shouldn't have taken much time. Within like 2 to 3 minutes. Again, this question you could have done if 30H is kept. Again, 2 to 3 minutes. That way the questions could be done faster, adopting some ways. And also do not forget to notice the misleading things like this, which is very important for us. Maybe we are trying to express the answer in 10 to the power minus 8 and we are writing down 8, but rather the answer is 8. sorry, 50. Sorry, 10 to the power minus 8, and it should be, we are writing in 5, it should be 50. Okay. So share these sessions, students. Do not forget to share the sessions. It would be useful for students also preparing for JEE Mains and JEE Advanced, and also JEE Mains, because JEE Mains aspirants are also JEE Advanced aspirants. And students, do share this channel, do talk about our channel, share this on your social media. It's an awesome channel where you get all your learnings for your JEE Mains and JEE Advanced from basics until from the basics until advanced. And not only that, it will be useful for your juniors as well. If you're like, a JEE Advanced aspirant who's going to give the exam right now, or if you're already, successfully scored well in your JEE Mains, and maybe you want to brainstorm things, because once you start brainstorming things, your knowledge grows and grows and grows. So acquire knowledge. It's very important for your growth, etc. And work hard and smart, especially when it comes to JEE Advanced. Tackling with the question, there is a knack. You need to understand those knack. Try to learn those things that I'm discussing in the session, especially in sessions like this or strategy sessions. There is some reason that we are doing these kind of sessions. We could have dealt with conceptual sessions, or I could have told you, okay, this is the answer. But try to absorb the techniques. That is also very important. And ignore gossips. Keep smiling, guys. And that being said, do check out our Telegram channel. This is that one-stop Telegram channel where you would get all the updates happening on JEE English, or anywhere else that we are where we are conducting lectures. I mean, like on our Unacademy learning app. So yeah, interesting sessions on both the places, and do not miss them out. And you need to first of all download Telegram app from your Google Play Store and App Store. Okay. And that being said, guys, this link is available in the description box below, or you can just type in JEE_English if you're already on Telegram app. And guys, do not forget to cover units and dimensions if you're 21, 22 aspirant, or if you're a JEE Advanced aspirant, trying to quickly revise some things. Especially the second session has a lot of PYQs. It was exclusively about PYQs and dimension analysis. One of the most asked topics, generally asked topics in your JEE Mains and also in your JEE Advanced. You also saw there was the easiest question was from dimension analysis in this entire 2019 paper 1. So do check it out. And guys, it's available on the Unacademy Learning app. It's a free of cost special class. So you need to first of all download Unacademy Learning app from your Google Play Store and App Store. As soon as you search it, you'll find it. It's the most downloaded learning app. So just choose that link, click on the install button, then move on. And the most interesting thing about Unacademy is we have an awesome, complete, technologically equipped learning subscription for you. This comes with everything that you need for your JEE Mains and JEE preparation. It's the champions tool that you need for your JEE Mains and JEE Advanced preparation. You pretty much get everything on this. This includes a structured program. And what do I mean by structured program? You go through an intensive program in which you enroll, and this is structured in a way so that it ensures your success in JEE Mains and JEE Advanced. And not only that, we have the best educators across the nation. You can learn from them, and you can get your doubts cleared from them. And more importantly, guys, you get to attend national level test series. You get access to leaderboards from which you can learn from your mistakes. And this helps you improve upon all your concepts. Of course, you're going to learn a lot of things at the end of the day, but it also depends upon your passion about this thing. You need to put in the efforts, but we have the best programs for you, given that you can put in the time. And it does not require a lot of time. It depends upon the type of the program that you're choosing. And guys, it's the state-of-the-art technology which puts you in an environment like JEE Mains. So one of the best things that you can avail for your JEE preparation, if you can afford, it's the best thing that you can get for your JEE Mains and JEE Advanced preparation. And that being said, how do you get this? You'll click on this extension bar, you'll choose plus as the option, and then you'll choose IIT JEE as your goal, with which your both IIT JEE and IIT JEE Mains and Advanced preparation begins. And then you'll click on this get subscription, and the beauty is it's one subscription, unlimited access. And guys, the price is also very reasonable. It's only going to cost you 2,100 per month if you're going for a 24-month subscription, generally applicable for 11th class, 9th class and 10th class student. And students, how do you get to this price point? You apply Murli Live coupon to get to this price point, which is going to be the best discount that you're going to avail on this purchase. And guys, that being said, we also have convenient payment method for you, which takes away the burden of paying all the fee at once. That's going to be pay in parts, and you can also avail it through no cost EMI, and it's going to only cost you it's not going to cost you any interest, I mean. So that's the best thing about it. So we have very convenient payment options for you, and yeah, we also have traditional payment methods like debit card, credit card, etc. And that being said, we also have programs for 12-month which goes along with your long-term or dropout plans. So that being said, this is typically for long-term dropout or 12th class students who have only 1 year in their mind for preparation. And it is quite reasonable. It's only going to cost you 2,888, which is less than 2,900. And guys, you need to apply Murli Live coupon to get to this price point, which is going to be the best discount that you're going to avail on the subscription. So do not forget to apply the Murli Live coupon. And that being said, it's a value platform which comes with 6,000 plus materials for your preparation. All like the best materials, quality content, and not only that, 1,000 plus active programs are going on. So enroll soon. See you in the next class. Take care, stay safe. Bye bye. Good night, students. Take care, stay safe.